Do you hold any Pivx coins or any coins on a chain that was forked off of Pivx? This includes over 200 active chains. If you do, you definitely want to stay tuned to find out about an exploit and attack that might be affecting your cryptocurrency right now today. Also, China coin is here, so look out, Libra. It looks like your Asian takeover is not going to be as easy as you thought it was. We've got Bitcoin falling off a cliff, down 5% on the day, so let's go look for some trade setups and check out the markets in today's exciting episode of Breaking Bitcoin. Welcome to Breaking Bitcoin, recorded live here in the studio, in the Cracking Cryptocurrency studio. Today is, of course, August 13th, 2019. It's Tuesday, Valley Year of our Lord, being at 2019. Hopefully you guys are doing absolutely fantastic wherever you happen to be tuning in from, whether you're watching us from across YouTube, Twitch, DLive, Facebook, or of course on Roku at the Investor News channel, or maybe you're, no, I don't think you can listen to the podcast live. We'll work on that. Make sure to check out breakingbitcoin.money if you want to catch the podcast after the show. We've got a great show for you today. Of course, we're sponsored by the Cracking Cryptocurrency Premium Trading Group. If you're a new or aspiring trader, make sure to head over to premium.crackingcryptocurrency.com to take part in our community and trade along with us in the live scene. All right, guys, so we've got a lot to talk about. Of course, I want to thank those new YouTube subs and Twitch followers. Thank you guys so much. Also, man, we're up to 12 Discord Nitro boosters. You guys are absolutely fantastic. We have unlocked the next tier of our Discord. Everything is now better for everybody. We've got new emojis. We've got better chat. We've got faster stuff. We've got better file sharing. It's just absolutely fantastic. So make sure you guys go hop in the Discord if you're not in there. Discord.crackingcryptocurrency.com. The EOS trading competition starts tomorrow. Hopefully you guys are packed, locked, ready to go. Our numbers participating in the Cracking Cryptocurrency team for the EOS trading competition with prizes up to $60,000. We've tripled in size since the last time we talked. So thank you guys so much for the support, coming and joining the team. I'm really looking forward to kicking it in the butt when we crack off tomorrow, starting at 11 a.m. Central Daylight Time. So my time, of course, starting at 4 p.m. Universal Coordinated Time. So make sure you guys are ready. If you guys have the 50 EOS minimum prior to the start of the competition, so you have until tomorrow, it will give you a 7 EOS bonus for the competition, and of course up to $60,000 in prizes. I'm pretty psyched. Prizes are going to be distributed evenly amongst the winning team. All right, guys, so let's get right into the live scene and start off today, as we always do, by giving away some crypto. Big shout out to this month's, that's interesting, wrong button. Big shout out to this month's crypto comment giveaway sponsor, X42 Protocol. Make sure to go check them out at x42.tech. Had Gabe on the show a whole bunch of times. Great guy to talk to. Smart guys over there. Good team. And of course, we've got 5 potential winners. We're going to randomly pick a winner here. And of course, it is Striatum55. EOS competition during the downfall. At least ByBit allows for shorting. Yes, it allows for many things, including a fantastic platform. That's why I like trading over there. So, Striatum55, thank you so much for the support. Thank you for commenting on the video. If you get a hold of me in the Discord, I will tip you some X42, my good friend. All right, guys, let's get right into what's going on. Let's just slide this microphone on over a little bit. And let's go to, oh my God, look at that. You know, it's like sometimes it's like this guy on TV knows what he's talking about. Let's see here. Safu Mafu says, when alt season, ban that man. Music overlapping on top of speak. Yes, sometimes that happens, my guys. Magnus, I will check your PM later, my guy. Pump up the volume a little bit. I did turn the microphone up. Sorry about that, guys. Hopefully you guys can hear me just fine. Alpine Whip, Tom Hardy, Ricky Thompson, and Professor Wally. What's going on, man? Goku ripped a currency. Bitcoin millionaire. Just saying. Moonshine Fuel, David Rice. Hopefully you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Let me know how you guys are doing. All right, we're down 5% on the day, 5.52%. Actually, it was 4.89% right when I hit record, and now we are at 5.52%. So I talked about the last time we gathered the last time we gathered on Friday. Sorry I couldn't make the show yesterday. I had some personal obligations that I had to take care of. And then I basically spent all of yesterday in the lab, which is pretty much what I do with the majority of my time, which is me and our devs, we've developed a bunch of new indicators that we're currently testing, trying to find the best parameter configurations for them, because that's what we like to do. We're always looking to increase our edge and find better setups. And what's interesting is that the indicators that we do develop have a myriad of customizable options. So for example, I was talking with a member this morning using Minx. So this is for the premium trading members. And using Minx, obviously I added all the different smoothing options, and they were talking about how instead of using an exponential moving average as a base calculation, using a linear regression, so a linear SMA, LSMA, they were getting fantastic results. So that is really cool to see. It's always awesome to see that so many of the guys in the group are taking the things that I've developed, that we've developed, and that we have great success with, and then making them even better, making them congruent with their own strategy. Some people are not going to be able to trade at the daily close. Some people are going to only be able to trade in the mornings. Some people want to trade the 1 hour. Some people want to trade the 4 hour, and that's absolutely fine. Some people want to trade the daily close, but they want to trade the 12-hour chart. You can trade the 4 hour, the 1 hour, the 30-minute, the 1 minute chart at the daily close. It's just the time of day when a lot of indicator information is in. And of course, as technical traders, we need that. And it's just great to see all the results that people send me all the time from their own testing, of course, in the Pathways to Profit course. We provide the spreadsheets, we provide the testing methods, we show you exactly where to go get the indicators, how to test them, what you're looking for, how to construct your system from the ground up. And it's just so amazing to see everybody take advantage of that, because, and I know that a lot of people don't like to hear this, but people ask me, how did you become a successful trader? How did you become a consistently profitable trader? Why are you always so chill when it comes to like movements in the market? Because I'm a consistently profitable trader, and I know that I'm going to be all right no matter what. But the thing of the matter is that it took lots and lots and lots of work, right? It took lots of testing, lots of time, lots of discipline, lots of sacrifice to get to a profitable position. And there's no way to short circuit that, right? There's no way to short circuit that. The problem is, I think in this space, is that we have so many passionate young men and women who are ready to put in the time, but they just don't have the guidance. They don't have the knowledge. They don't have the direction. And when you go out there and learn how to trade, there's just so much bad information. Everywhere you go, it's going to tell you how to use these old indicators from the 1960s, generally the ones developed by James Willer. It's going to tell you, how to use Fibonacci and support and resistance and all these things, man, that don't have good statistical edges. And they don't focus on money management. They don't teach you how to calculate your risk. They don't teach you how to diversify. They don't teach you how to hedge. And all these things you just have to know walking in the door. So I'm really happy that we can provide that structure for people. And it's just so amazing to be part of our community. I get to wake up every day and work with some of the best people. Anyways, having said that, what do we have today? We have Bitcoin's price closing below the daily baseline, Minx signaling a short, Wada Tar signaling a short, the Fisher Transform, which is actually, I know a lot of guys have taken the FT and instead of using it as an exit indicator, are using it as an entry indicator. And they have tightened up their baseline a little bit. They've done a lot of really cool, fantastic things. So interestingly enough, the Fisher Transform did end up crossing over here on the 10th. If you go back test this, you get some fantastic signals from the Fisher. Now, you do have to smooth it out a little bit, make it a little less sensitive, but on assets that trend very well, right? It tends to keep you in the trend very well, and with your confirmer is going to keep you out of these small areas of chop. But again, having that higher threshold for a signal generator is going to keep you out of the chop even well on top of that, even better on top of that. So again, just fantastic stuff to see all the different combinations, all the different permutations that people are using, and all the success people are finding with that. So anyways, running through the technicals here. The last time we spoke on Friday, we did talk about some price action setups. We talked about that right here. We talked about two potential fills coming down on this down candle. This was going to be on the 9th of August. Of course, coming in on today is Tuesday. This is Monday. This is Sunday. This is Saturday. So the last time we talked on Friday was right here, and we talked about these two breakdown trades, these two momentum trades to the downside. Okay. So having said that, we just hit take profit or the final take profit on this. So that would have been a 7.55% trade for anybody watching the Friday stream. So we've got these two areas left up. Now we have kind of hit that as far as, you guys know that I don't predict the market, but that's pretty much as far forward as I had thought at that point in time. So now we're going to have to redraw, kind of go back to basics and do this live on the stream for you guys. So the way that we're going to do that is by removing all the drawing tools. And we're just going to start fresh. from what PTP tells us to do, or from what my permutation of PTP tells us to do, what the signals that have been issued so far have said, and what we have coming up. So we'll start by breaking down what the indicators are saying. We have Minx flipping to the short side. Obviously, we got the exit signal from Minx over on this candle right here, telling us to be out of longs, with Minx crossing below the noise line and into static or no trade zones. We have Wada Atar explosion on that very same candle, printing a column underneath the explosion level, which means you also want to be out of long trades. It's also a good early exit indicator. And then on the very next candle, which is quite convenient because it is an up candle, we do get the cross under from Fisher Transform, which, as I said, is an exit indicator in its own right, but many have found that it works very well as an entry indicator as well. So that's very, very good to see. Now, let's continue moving on here a little bit. I believe in miracles. Where are you from? Oh, please dash pump. Yes. Anyways, Crypto Jack, MT Coiner, good to see you guys. So we have our baseline. We had our 13 exponential moving average supporting price. We are now breaking down below that. We have Wadatar explosion printing a red column above the explosion level as well, combined with not only the Fisher Transform being crossed under the signal line, trigger line, excuse me, but also crossing below the zero line, and Minx crossing below the zero line as well, having previously crossed under the noise line. So we've got a lot of bearish indications today. This is a full-fledged short PTP trade. This is good to go. This is good to take to the downside. Anyways, on the day, let's throw up in Quadrigo and look at our downside potential right here. So we'll throw longs to shorts and we'll make sure everything is good. Yes, good to see here. So we are going to be looking at downside potential potentially of 10,120. We'll just say 10,120. It's really 10,124, 10,125. 94.39, we could round that up to 9,500, and 87.53, so 8,800. Now, if we go ahead and note those areas, let's take Quadrigo off. We've got the numbers. What does that really coincide with? That would really coincide with a retest of this double level of support around that 92.46, and actually a thrust below that, right? So that would be an area that I would be looking at. That's obviously an interesting area on the chart. And that's, of course, where our volatility is pointing us at anyways. So just good to see that level of confluence. If we take the baseline off, I do want to take a look at Ichimoku because Ichimoku is interesting. This is going to be a setup for a edge-to-edge trade, a cloud pierce to the downside. We do have price breaking into the Ichimoku cloud. Of course, the future cloud is bullish with a slight twist to the upside. But again, we have crashed down back below the Kijun, and we are looking to violate the Tenkan as well, sitting at 10,723. So for those of you who are going to be trading this either which way, you could be looking to establish a tentative position here on the breach of the cloud, and then price breaking down below the Tenkan would be another establishment. Of course, the other way that one would have done it is, of course, once price breached the Kijun, one would have established a tentative position. If we close below the cloud, establishing more, and breaking down below the Tenkan, you could be establishing more as well if you were trying to scale into a position in that fashion. One of our junior analysts who I am currently mentoring and training right now, this is actually his personal strategy. He trades Ichimoku. So, and again, we have to remember that Ichimoku is something that I traded for many years. I think it's one of the best systems. I think that if you don't have a system right now, Ichimoku is a fully fledged component. All you need to do is grab it, learn how to take the trades, and test it, and you're going to probably have better results than what you're currently having right now. It's just a system that works really well. Now, do I think you can get really to those higher tier absolute pro levels just using the Ichimoku? No, I don't. But you can get pretty close. I think you can get pretty close, and that's what's important. So having something good is a lot better than what most people have right now. So most people just don't even have something that works consistently, right? So many people that I begin mentoring, they go through PTP and then they develop a winning system, and then they don't really have their money management down 100%, and they've got to do a lot more testing and get much more comfortable with their system, but they're consistently making small profits, let's say, to begin with. Of course, some people come in and have great success right off the bat, but the whole point is to stop losing money and just get to that baseline of break even or slight profitability, because once you get there and you know that the worst thing that happens when you trade is that you break even. Well, if you're breaking even as a trader, you're already doing better than 90 to 95% of traders, because the majority of traders just lose money consistently over time. It is actually a very small percentage of traders who consistently win. That's what we aim to do here on this channel and with our group. So, having the discipline, the lack of desperation, the patience to work on your strategy to cut down your losses, to develop a baseline of profitability, and then work to scale that up over time by improving your system is the method forward. That is the pathway to profit. Okay. Ferguson, what's going on, my good man? Okay, let's go down to the 12-hour time frame. Let's see what we're getting on the 12. We'll throw up baseline. We've got everything going well here. Let's see. The 12-hour would have given the initial short signal here. One would have taken this. That would have been a losing trade if you're exiting on the baseline, or if you're using a 21 exponential moving baseline. That's fine too. That's going to be a different little setup, but we're just going to go through what we have. We close right back down below. Of course, you actually get the exit signal on this candle as well with WADA if you're respecting WADA. I do want to point out, obviously, the exits or the entry signal from Fisher Transform as well, which is good. You have a few candles of drawdown, and eventually price does move in your direction. And of course, the 12-hour would have got you into the long here on the Fisher Transform. That was a very good entry. And then, of course, exiting and the potential short. And maybe you don't enter into the short right away on this. You do want your confirmation. I don't see any other confirmations, but you definitely do get that confirmation over here, if not here. All right. But you do get the potential re-entry on this candle right here when you cross back down below the baseline with WADA confirming, Fisher pointed down, and Minx still confirming short signal, and price moving in your favor. So you're already up pretty well on that 12-hour trade had you taken it. Where are we at right now? Let's throw open that baseline and throw the trade qualifier on for a short trade. Okay. On the 12-hour, we're going to need to wait for a pullback to be entering into this position. So we're looking for a candle to go above 10,914. So looking at that area between 10,914 and 11,336 on the 12-hour chart for a re-entry. I did want to use that same qualifying line over on the daily. Now on the daily, you're good because our qualifying line is sitting all the way down at 10,500. I actually, interestingly enough, yesterday I talked to the guys. The last market update that I made last night was talking about the downside potential with a potential buyback at 10.3. So that's going to be a little bit lower, and still the trade from 10.8 to 10.3, which again, if you recall, was where the first area where our Quadriga was pointed at for a potential take profit, is going to give us some very nice confluence at that level as well. And then, of course, some more downside potential as well. Okay, 4-hour time frame. Let's see here. 4-hour time frame did you very well. Here is the entry on the 4-hour time frame at 2300 last night. So this was at 11 o'clock last night, the last night's candle close. If you had entered in your short trade, taking the 4-hour time frame, you'd have been set up. The Fisher Transform got you in one candle earlier at the daily candle close for the 4-hour time frame and generating some very nice profits to the downside. If you would have taken that trade, let's go take a look at where you would be situated. You would be out with 2 take profits right now, and you would have, let's see, I don't think we hit that. No, we missed it by just a few dollars. From 10,000 from the low of this candle, which is currently 10,762, and let's see here. Actually, you know what? We would have, it's this one right here, 10,763, and we did hit that with 10,762. So you're good. You hit all 3 take profits on the 4-hour short setup. You are paused. You're waiting for a re-entry. And again, that's pretty confluent with our 12-hour time frame, telling us that we're a little overextended past the 12-hour qualifying line on the baseline, and that we would want to see a pullback back up into that region between 10,911 and 11,333, as I said earlier. Mike, yes, that is correct. We were long on BCH, ABC, the BTC pair, and just as Bitcoin started dropping about an hour ago, we got our first take profits getting filled on our BCH, ABC, BTC trade to the upside. God, that's a mouthful. BCH, ABC, XYZ, LMNOP to the upside. So yes, definitely. All right, let's be cracking on, guys, because we've got a whole lot that I want to talk about today. And going down to the 1-hour chart, getting off of Quadriga. Again, we get this nice entry signal initially here, which we would not take. WADA does not confirm. But on the very next candle, it does. It does on the very next candle. And also WADA giving a signal in its own right on that candle, being able to carry this to the downside as well. Very nice. And even the hourly fissure has not crossed back up to the upside. It's probably going to take a couple of candles. We do have an interesting candlestick pattern right here on the hourly. Going to have to wait till it closes, but I could see a couple hours of retracement again, which is going to be a good opportunity for the re-entry. Again, going between that 10.9 to 11.3 area. So pretty wide variance, but looking for a retracement of that area to enter. That's about all I got. Daily signal to the downside, multiple opportunities on different time frames for re-entry, multiple great trades on the 4 hour, the 1 hour. The 12 and the 24 are setting up right now as we speak. 12 hour needs a retracement. The daily is good to go. So that's going to influence whatever time frame that you're taking your positions on, or whether you're taking multiple positions spread across different time frames. You just need to consult the stop loss and the ATR on that time frame to adjust your position size and your stop and targets. Okay, Ethereum. And what's interesting is Ethereum, Ripple, and EOS, which we're going to go over here in fairly rapid fashion, did not move down with this big volatility. Pretty much held their grounds. Now, of course, down movements, but holding their grounds nicely, which is interesting to see. So Ethereum on the daily. I got the short signal over here, hitting TP1 on that before a swift movement back up and actually stopping us at a break even. We did take that trade. We did hit take profit 1 on our previous Ethereum short. Not in a position right now. We don't have the re-entry signal yet. WADA explosion is telling us to stay out of the market on these last 2 daily candles. The Fisher transform is bearish, not only crossed below the trigger line, but also below the 0 line. And Minx is also bearish, having crossed below the 0 line over here and remaining far, far, far below the static noise level as well. So really nothing to do here on Ethereum. We are consolidating below the daily baseline. As I talked about yesterday, looking for potential breakouts above the baseline, or looking for momentum and downside, basically a break of this level of resistance, because as you can see, we've had a consolidation pattern, a ranging movement behavior on Ethereum, gearing up for the next larger move. And it's very unclear at this point in time which direction that's going to be. With Bitcoin moving dramatically to the downside, we will see over the next day or so whether the movement to Bitcoin is a fake out, we reverse, end up getting the long signal and take the trade at the upside, or if we do end up falling out of the bottom here, because we do have some, which is where my bias is at. Obviously, whenever price is bearish, I'm going to remain a bear in the short term. As far as the weekly timeframes go, still a overall bullish trend on Bitcoin, but we've been looking for that nice correction for a while, and we've been in the process of that for quite a while. So things don't move directly up, things do not move directly down. Now, interesting volume coming in on Ethereum as well. I did want to point that out, but not a whole lot of momentum to back it up. And again, volume without momentum is fairly meaningless, and momentum without volume is also fairly meaningless. You need both to generate a strong trend and provide you an opportunity to be entering and re-entering into a strong directional bias multiple times. So I just don't see that on Ethereum. I'm not in a position on Ethereum. There's nothing to do with Ethereum, in my opinion. We need to see either momentum or we need to see a continuation signal, which we're not getting at this point in time. Or we need to see a nice rally above that $220 area is really what I'd like to see. I'd like to see a rally and a breakout above 220, above the baseline, combined with momentum and volume to be taking the trade to the upside. So other than that, I don't really see a whole lot coming in on Ethereum. Let's go down to the 4 hour. Even on the 4 hour, there's really not a whole lot going on here. Fisher transform crossed under here. Could have given you the re-entry signal here. You would have caught this big movement to the downside. Ethereum moving to the upside on this last 4 hour. So again, even with Bitcoin dropping pretty precipitously, Ethereum dropped first and is now retracing as Bitcoin has done its thing over the last couple of hours. Anyways, so no trade zone for me on Ethereum. EOS USD. Obviously getting ready to kick the trading competition off tomorrow. Going to the daily on EOS, very similar. So this looks very similar to Ethereum, and for that same reason is also in that no trade zone for me. We can see WADA explosion printing green columns. They are below the dead zone though. By the way, I did push an update to WADA explosion where I put the dead zone filter in there. Actually helps filter out quite a few losses. So if you're using WADA explosion, make sure to update your charts. There is a slight issue with that. I'm not actually using the new version on here. It's just the way that I had this set up actually. But there is an issue where it's not printing short signals. Now, there's nothing wrong with the way the indicator works if you just know what to look for. Like, obviously, you see a red column above a rising explosion level. All that works. It just doesn't color the bar, and it doesn't print that that black arrow, which is, you know, honestly, signals for dummies. But the alerts still work. Everything works just fine. I just have to figure that out. I upgraded the code to version 4, and so I'm assuming that it's something in there. It's just something I haven't been able to sit down and fix. I don't know if you can see all my paperwork over here. I've got a lot. I got a lot on the plate, working on a lot of stuff. Anyway, so let's see here. No trade zone for EOS for me. Fisher Transform is crossing back up to the upside. Minx is still below the 0 line. Did not even cross back up above the static level. So really nothing to do here. No trade zone for me on EOS. Again, same thing. Kind of looking for that breakout above 417, 420 at that area. Looking, you know, to run that up at least to 430. And then we'll kind of talk about higher targets at that point in time, depending on what the signal looks like. And again, we've got that qualifying line also acting as a decent level of support at 385 at this current point in time. So if you're trading the range, those are the areas to kind of be keeping your eye on until we see a break of that range with good volume, and we can take a trade in a directional bias instead of trading the range. XRP USD. XRP USD, I'm still in a short position on XRP USD. I haven't gotten any indication to exit the trade. You know, price moving in my favor, so in profit right now. And really, you know, but overall, looking at the structure, this seems like not something I would want to initiate a position on. You know, I entered into the short position on ZERP, and I did not see a reason to, I didn't get a signal to exit the trade, so there was no reason to exit the trade. So it's kind of acting as a nice hedge against all the other positions as well. But again, I don't really see anything to do here. The same kind of ranging consolidation behavior. Obviously, the opportunities are going to be on the lower time frames. If one were trading the range, these are going to be good opportunities. I don't want to say good opportunities. I want to say that with a big grain of salt. These are going to be options and opportunities for people who are trading the range and are good at that to profit. But most people are not, and that is not a high probability strategy when you're trading the range. It's just not. You know, people think it's easy, but you never know when you're entering into a range. And the moment you break out of a range, you generally incur a significant loss. This is my experience with range trading and with range traders in general. But again, everybody is unique in their own right. We're all just special snowflakes, man. Special snowflakes. Anyways, so going over to BNB, let's check in with the big dog BNB. BNB doing quite well. We talked about this area as well. We talked about this level of support. We talked about the breakdown below support, the initial rejection. We did end up rallying above, and we did get the daily long signal on BNB BTC right over here on the 10th of August, 2019, breaking up into that level as well. Keep in mind, this is going to be a breaker, so breaking above that would be quite bullish. And you know, if that happens, then breaker theory would say that any pullbacks back into that zone, and of course, my lines want to be hidden right now, but get those numbers for you. Is going to be 0026, let's just say 0027, and 00275 are going to be buybacks, pulling back down into that area, and that's on a breakout above 00275. But anyways, PTP would have had one in a long trade over here anyways. Minx crossing above the 0 line, and Wadatar Explosion crossing above the explosion level with a green column, and of course Fisher Transform did cross up to the upside over here. You would have had one candle of drawdown and then the price moving better in your favor. A little bit less riskier entry over here on the nice momentum breakout, but BNB BTC doing quite well. And BNB USDT, less so. BNB USDT moving down with BTC USD, as most of the USDT pairs are doing, with the exclusion of Bcash ABC USDT. Let's look at Litecoin real quick. We talked about, okay, so these are the two areas I talked about with Litecoin as well. We talked about the support level coming down here at 0069, 007. Price did barely just tap that right there and reversed right off of that before finding rejection from the baseline. This is that kind of this is that consolidation area, consolidating right below the daily baseline. No strong signal yet. This has a good, you know, this looks just like what we saw with Ethereum, with EOS, with Ripple, where we have a pretty significant trend to the downside for a while, and then we have a pretty healthy bounce, and then price, instead of breaking all the way to the upside, so going from here to here, price just ranges for quite a long time actually. So that's what I actually see coming in from Litecoin here, is ranging activity. And Litecoin to the dollar. Philip, my good man, thank you so much for the quid, my brother. Thank you so much. Hopefully you're doing absolutely fantastic over there in beautiful Manchester, my good man. Litecoin to the dollar. And Litecoin to the dollar, we can see absolutely the exact same thing coming in from our Ethereum pair, from our Ripple pair, and from our EOS pair. Consolidation beneath the daily baseline, a couple of fake out trades to the upside, and just not a lot of good momentum. You can see that Watertar Explosion has been largely stuck in the dead zone and keeping us out of trades, which is quite nice to see. But of course, Fisher is below the zero line and crossed under to the downside. Gave you the entry signal right there on that candle. And yeah, the directional bias is to the downside, but again, ranging behavior, a lot of consolidation, and in general, a no trade zone for me for Litecoin to the dollar. We'd be interested in that breakout trade above 89.47, looking to take that trade up, and a breakdown below 82.19 at this point in time. Philip asks, what's going on with silver at the opening bell? Let's go check it out. Okay. Nice Darth Maul candle coming in here from silver. You don't see that too often. This is the daily for the ZAG USD contract for difference on a Wanda, where I would be trading silver. Let's see here. Very interesting discrepancy. So let's talk about silver right here. We did get the Fisher Transform crossover right here after getting the bearish cross under right here. Now, obviously, that trade would not have worked very well in your favor, but we do have to go back and look at the entry signal from FT, and we did get the entry signal right there on the same signal where Minx would have told us to go long as well. We got the confirmation from Watertar Explosion and a full signal from Watertar Explosion in its own right, 2 candles later, giving us that very nice trade to the upside. And Fisher telling us to get out with some nice profits. Now, Minx did get us back in here. We'd be sitting in consolidation. Minx hasn't told us to exit. So basically, we're right where we started. So there's not a whole lot of clear direction coming from this. You know, just it's a fake out candle. Big move to the upside, big move to the downside. We're still above the baseline, so the directional bias is to the upside. Silver has been performing quite nicely, giving individuals a great opportunity to get their limit fills in at 1666, right at the daily baseline. About 30 cents cheaper than where price is currently trading right now. So that was a quick lick, about a 1.64% move, and probably about the flash of the eye. And again, Ferguson and individuals saying that silver is responding to a strong market open. So equity's opening up strong. Let's go take a look at Zao and see if Zao is putting in the same behavior. You would expect it to. And yes, Zao putting in the exact same behavior. So run up a lot of bulls trying to get in at the beginning of the day. But of course, the CFD trades 24/7. Not 24/7, excuse me, but all day, all night. And closes on Friday, as the Owanda markets do. And opens up again on Sunday, very similar to the CME. Yeah, I don't have a whole lot to say about this because I'm not, as a trader, I'm not tracking gold and silver as closely as I'm tracking cryptocurrency right now. The trades have been there. The trades are good. I'm not trading CFDs right now at this current point in time. I'm only trading my Forex currency pairs. But, as far as my relationship to gold and silver, I just continue to invest in gold and silver every month, as I've always done for such a long time. It's one of those things you just buy and then you don't worry about it. But my directional bias would definitely be to the upside. Minx is telling us to go ahead and get out of the market right now, which is good. This is Zao, so very similar for ZAG. We got re-entry signals on Zao and ZAG for silver and gold. Right over here on this candle. Yep, there's the crossover and the crossover here from FT. You'd actually be in a little bit of profit getting the entry from FT. You'd be in a little bit of drawdown, slight loss on the entry from Minx, but looking for that candle close and looking at, we're getting it from gold, not from silver. I'd be looking at gold always as the leading indicator. But WADA is giving you the exit signal its own right by printing a green column below, letting you know to be out of long trades. And again, 1666 remains a reentry point on that reversal baseline bounce, potentially all the way down to 1629. But closure below 1666 would be shifting our trend pretty significantly in a way we haven't seen in a minute since a fake out here. Yeah, there it is right there. Big 15-minute candle coming in from silver. 3.18%. Immediate bounce back up to the 15-minute baseline. Do I buy physical gold and silver? Yes, I do. All right. All right, guys, so we've got some pretty interesting news to talk about today. So we're going to break that down, and then we are going to words come to me, words. And then we're going to break into the Forex markets and talk about the Forex markets. Forex markets doing very well, loving the volatility, great trades that we've been putting on lately. And we're going to talk about the news, and we're going to talk about the Forex markets. But before we do that, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back in just 1 or 2 minutes. Let me know what you guys think in the chat, anything you guys would like me to take a look at, and I'll be right back, guys. Thank you guys so much for staying through the break. And as I said, we've got some fantastic stuff to talk about today. So look out, Libra coin. China saw you trying to squeeze into the international scene with your digital currency and said, nope, we're way ahead of you. So an official at the PBOC, at the People's Bank of China, China's central bank, revealed that they are ready to launch China's own central bank digital currency, a CBDC. It's being issued utilizing a two-tier system, utilizing the central bank, forming tier 1, the middle of the node, and the commercial banks they're going to be responsible for issuance to citizens, forming the second tier. So while the commercial bank will be responsible for obviously issuing currency to the commercial banks will be responsible for issuing it to individuals as well. Now, it's important to note that it's not a cryptocurrency. Now, generally, we always say that. Well, it's not a real cryptocurrency because of X, Y, and Z, but this is literally not a real cryptocurrency at all. It is not tied to the blockchain whatsoever. It's not based on blockchain tech. Now, the research group responsible for this, the Digital Monetary Research Group, originally created a blockchain-reliant currency. However, China came to the belief that such a project would not work in a country as big as China. It seems that they have not heard of Bitcoin, which works globally, but I digress. And of course, we've got all the nasty stuff that's coming along with this: KYC, AML, fiat management, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now, clearly, this is China attempting to get ahead of something like Libra. I know that people are like, well, it's banned and this and that and the third and the fourth. Kind of the point of a cryptocurrency, which Libra actually is, unlike this digital currency, which is not a cryptocurrency whatsoever, because it's not based on blockchain, which again, I guess we're getting into semantics, but again, you guys can take that argument as you want. I've said it many times. It doesn't matter if it's Libra coin or not that achieves success. I do see a corporate coin replacing Tether as the most liquid digital currency in the world at a scale heretofore unseen. So, excuse me. Now, I do think that China, well, let's just talk realistically. China as a communist nation is very, very interested. But again, we could replace communism here with just about any other nationalistic style. China is very interested in controlling the currency of its people. All governments are, and they see the threat of digital currency, and they see the desire of their citizens to utilize some alternative to China's fiat currency. Obviously, we have the tariffs that are heavily impacting this. We have the trade war that is heavily impacting this. We have a lot of global factors. We have the heating up the United States dollar. We have rate cuts. We have the additional quantitative easing that is going to continue to take place. The entire global economy is like, wow, man, it's getting pretty nasty out there. Now, as I've said, I think that we're going to have potentially 5 years or longer of continued economic growth. I don't think that the shoe's dropping tomorrow. I don't think that it's dropping next year. In fact, I think that sitting on the sidelines, while we're probably going to have more growth than we've seen in quite a while, is kind of silly. But I've said this many times. You have to be preparing yourself in a very overall fashion for your investment strategy. I think that investment, I don't care. Everybody wants to go to the absolute worst extreme. Pohai, thanks so much for the sub over there on YouTube. Everyone always wants to go to the absolute worst extreme. And while most people know my feelings on things like government quite well, which is no government's better than some government. The point is this. The nature of the world is not going to magically change just because we're going to, I hear it, I read it all the time. It's all this doom mongering, fear saying stuff. Do I think we're going to have a significant global correction and a lot of global turmoil? Absolutely, invariably. And I think the main reason for that is going to be because the dollar is not backed by gold. There is the American government does not hold enough gold to it's printed more money than it has gold in reserve, right? And gold is no longer tied, the United States dollar is no longer tied to the gold standard. So there is a problem because the United States dollar, pursuant to Bretton Woods, has become the world reserve currency, right? And then obviously France asked for its gold back, which kind of prompted all that in the first place. So, basically causing a bank run on America, which became, the world reserve currency. So what are all the world reserve currencies backed by? They're backed by the United States dollar. And the United States dollar is backed by nothing. And we've printed far more than we have the capacity to to cover, and we're printing more. So this is a problem. This is a problem, and this is a bill that's coming due and will come due. And undoubtedly, we're going to see a lot of global shifts, a lot of global changes. Impossible to predict. The best that you can do is just prepare yourself accordingly. Do I think that America is going to collapse? No, I don't. I think that's silly. Is it possible? Yeah, man, anything can happen. You know, the Roman Empire fell. You know, the Byzantine Empire fell. Sparta beat Athens. So anything can happen. But I'm going to continue doing what has worked for me my entire life. I'm going to continue doing what has worked the best in most recent history. Prepare myself with an investment portfolio that protects me, really no matter which way the direction of the market goes. Will I suffer loss on my growth investments as the market corrects? Yes, absolutely. Just like I would suffer loss on my Bitcoin investments if the market corrects, absolutely. But we have to recall that the way that I live my life is that my investments are there to provide me passive income and also allow me to pass on wealth from myself to my children when I do pass, because I think that is how you build your family up. At some point in time, you have to take the reins to be the responsible financial person in your family and try to elevate your family to a better level of standing, and also do the best that you can to make the world a better place. So, it's just an exciting time to be alive, man. There's a lot of conclusions that we can draw from this, but I'm more interested to hear what you guys think about this. Obviously, this is pretty interesting. This is pretty exciting. You know, Sweden's had the digital currency for a while. Venezuela's has that digital currency for a while that has been issued by the central bank. But it's pretty not in the case of Sweden, because Sweden's in the Eurozone, but it's pretty interesting to see China moving forward with this. Okay. So, got some bad news for you guys. Wait a second. Is that an ETF meme? Is that an ETF meme I smell? Yes, another Bitcoin ETF meme. That is right. So the SEC has yet again delayed making a decision on 3 Bitcoin ETFs, according to documents published yesterday. The SEC has put off a formal decision on ARCA and SIBO listings for 3 ETFs, which is the VanEck SolidX ETF, the Bitwise Asset Management ETF, and Wilshire Phoenix's ETF as well. They have delayed decision-making until mid-October to late September, respective for the 3 potential listings. Now, I've said this a lot of times, man. Don't hold your breath for these listings anytime soon. Although, having said that, I do actually, I don't go to the absolute extreme where like, for example, Crypto Mom, what's her name? Hedith in this article. Sorry, I can't remember her name. Hester Pierce. Where she says, well, it could be 20 years. I don't think it's going to be 20 years. I think we're going to see Bitcoin ETFs within the next 5 years. But anytime between now and then, it's just going to be up. It's going to happen exactly when it happens. Just like these kind of decisions come like a thief in the night, right? And if you don't have insider knowledge, then you just wake up and kind of see them in the news. So the best that you can do is try to prepare for these things. When it comes to investing, as opposed to trading, I don't predict the markets when it comes to trading. I trade in the direction of a dominant trend, and I have indicators that I've developed to help me identify when a trend is good, and that's how I earn my active income. As far as passive income goes, as far as investments, you do have to take a role of the speculator. You have to become a time traveler, because remember, what is a speculator? We're time travelers, ladies and gentlemen. We find something that we identify as valuable, that the market does not consider as valuable right now. We purchase that asset. We invest our time and energy into securing that asset, and we transport it into the future to where it is considered valuable. We are time travelers. We take something that is less valuable now, and we transport it through time and space where it is more valuable. So basically, we see value where others don't. And when the rest of the world wakes up, they're like, oh, hey, man, that thing was actually really valuable. That was a good idea that you did. You as a speculator are rewarded for your efforts with capital appreciation. That is how speculation works. Okay. And getting to what I think is actually the most interesting story of the day, I'm over here on Hacker News, and I want to thank Alex for bringing this to my attention. I had heard about this previously, the kind of the Pivx scandal, but we've got some updates on this. So there is a bug claimed to be fixed by Pivx. There was a bug that was claimed to be fixed by the Pivx core team back in January of this year, but it is proven certainly not to be fixed. Over 200 cryptocurrencies are at risk of attacks or are currently under attack. Now, this was kind of brought to light by the BitGreen core development team. They were the first to publicly report this exploit that was running rampant again, and have even noticed it being used across other chains, including Pivx itself, which we actually have some proof of. Now, what seems the worst about this exploit is that Pivx itself the team seems to have known the bug was not fixed and kept the information secret from the public. Simply put, someone has figured out how to game the Pivx proof of stake algorithm. Now, this has basically crippled the reward system for Pivx. Not directly on Pivx. It hasn't crippled Pivx yet, but it's already crippled several chains already, which is based off Pivx, and exchanges have been and are currently being notified to to halt deposits and withdrawals until further notice. Now, in this example down here, in this example right here, which is an address summary, we have somebody who only has 87 Pivx in a wallet mining 48 Pivx. Now, that's a feat that should have taken 100 days at Pivx's current stake weight of 9K and 2.3 coins per stake. However, it only took them about a day to achieve these riches. Now, the BitGreen team responded. We talked about the BitGreen kind of being the team that brought this to light. Now, the BitGreen team responded to this exploit almost immediately by dismantling a large portion of their active masternodes to slow the attack, and quickly implemented a temporary fix to raise the minimum staking threshold. That basically stopped the attack. Now, they're going to put a final fix, but it's a temporary fix. They're going to be publishing a final fix in a wallet update coming up soon that will shift their code base from Pivx to Dash. So their solution was to switch their main chain from Pivx to Dash, to do a chain swap. Now, the author here, who is a developer of Lunar, if I'm not mistaken, the Lunar cryptocurrency, here claims that while he was investigating this problem of the Pivx hack, that he noticed a lot of red flags from the Pivx core team themselves. First, no one from the core team would speak with him directly. Instead, a Discord user by the name of Boobies. Yes, very, very professional when our core devs are named Boobies. He's not a core dev, but instead a Discord user by the name of Boobies, I'm going to say that as many times as I can, relayed messages from the team stating that they were aware of the bug and that it couldn't be solved until the 4.0 update came out in Q3 of 2019. Now, one would assume with a bug as significant as this, one that is crippling the reward systems for chains forked from Pivx, that they would have issued statements for all of the Pivx forks and the Pivx chain itself. Because again, as we noted from this example over here, we did actually have evidence that it was Pivx itself that was receiving this, that was under attack from this exploit as well. But no comment from them. In fact, Pivx turned around and claimed that it was crappy chains that had deleted a line of code. But that doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense. That seems to be an abject lie, because it's Pivx itself that is also being exploited by this attack. Now, also, when this author was finally given the contact information of one of the core devs, he sent them screenshots of this wallet address that we were just talking about above, and from that moment on, he received nothing but radio silence from the team. Coincidentally enough, immediately following that exchange, that conversation, that address stopped showing signs of aberrant staking. Coincidence? I don't know. Now, we have to realize that this is millions of dollars that are still at risk. When you consider the number of projects running off of Pivx forks, there's over 200 active chains running off of Pivx forks. Now, the author, this is what I was talking about with some updates. So the author published some updates yesterday where he starts out, he's like, I'm not even sure where to begin. I feel your pain, man. So he was talking about how he got banned from their Discord. He revealed chat logs of the behavior and nature of the Pivx core devs. So the question to me, however, is, why was BitGreen, which is a smaller team, and most of you have probably never even heard of them, why was BitGreen able to solve this problem very quickly while Pivx, who is the father chain here, has let this exploit go on since January when it was initially discovered to this very day? So, a lot of questions to be answered. This doesn't look very good to me. Pivx chain is still at risk from what I understand. And again, this update was just yesterday. This exploit and attack is still going on. If you have Pivx or Pivx related coins, I would, it's not like your funds are at risk. It's not like your coins are going to be stolen. That's not the issue. The issue is that some people are gaming the staking algorithm and receiving more coins and staking rewards than they should otherwise be able to, which could have implications for the long-term value of your coin. So do your own research and make sure that you guys are protecting yourself as best as you can. As I said, it's not like your funds are at risk. Funds are SAFU. But this is kind of a more deeper and insidious problem. So let's head over to head back over to Bitcoin momentarily. And let's screw up here. Let's see here. Roll up, that is. Safu Mafu. So I actually, to purchase physical gold and silver, I go through my bank. My bank goes through a broker, and it's just very convenient for me to do so. I don't actually end up paying a whole lot extra, and it's just, you know, convenient. I make a phone call, boom, I got it. China is set to tokenize the economy with this movement, way ahead of the United States, but of course it wouldn't work in the West anyways, given our notions surrounding property. Interesting. Kendi says, how do I get stopped out on the exact lows? That tells me I'm in the wrong business. No, it tells you that you need to look at your stop and target system or your entries. Doesn't mean you're in the wrong business. Wally says, fascinating news about China. They did indeed bend over backwards to say digital currency and not cryptocurrency. I'm reminded of Naomi Brockwell's Bitcoin going to the moon video. Shout out to my girl Naomi Brockwell over there. The greatest female in all of cryptocurrency. Have I ever heard of Liberland? Yes. Yes, I have. Time to pay the piper one day. Brandon says, my assets are frozen in Binance, so all of you are aware. I am unable to liquidate. I did speak, so I haven't heard this from too many people, but I have, we are coming up on September. And I don't think that it's, again, a couple people, I've heard this from 2 people. You're the second person so far. So again, I don't work for Binance. I'm not here shilling Binance. But do I think that Binance is exit scamming? No, I think that's silly. I don't think there's anything wrong with Binance. I think that they're still one of the best exchanges to trade on. There have been, and again, here's the thing, man. Like, I've heard, we've had all this bad news, but none of my money or anybody that I know has lost money on Binance due to a hack. So, but again, you want to be safe with your crypto. So my point is this. I know that they seem to be ramping up suspicious withdrawals. And that means that, so in the one case I was talking to somebody, he had a VPN on and he was in the process of making a withdrawal when his VPN slipped or he turned it off. And because the IP switched real quickly is what I assume, they flagged it as suspicious and they required all kinds of documentation. Like, when did you sign up? We need you to do like a KYC AML. Honestly, I think that what they're doing is they're trying to look for excuses and opportunities where if you slip an American IP address, where they're going to hit you and basically require you to do identity verification before you can withdraw your funds. I don't think that they're stealing our money. I don't think that it's going to disappear, but I think they're trying to do any and everything that they can to identify who are American traders on their platform. And so if you have anything that looks suspicious, I think they're going to hit you with identity verification before you can withdraw your funds, which is bullshit, 100%, which is bullshit. But I understand why they're doing it. So basically, you're going to have to do your KYC, you're going to have to do your identity verification if you want to get your funds back, which again is bullshit and is a privacy breach. And you're going to have to create a new Binance account if that's what you're trying to do, because once September rolls around, they're not going to let you trade on there because now you've done the identity verification. But definitely, let me know more about that, Brandon. Definitely let me know more about that, man. Thank you, man. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. As I said, You're the second person that I know who's brought that up to me. So although I don't think that there's anything bad going on Binance, and again, I've yet to have one person come to me that says, well, you know, Binance did end up just keeping my money and I'm totally screwed. I've always heard of it was a pain in the ass, but I got it resolved. Yeah, definitely let me know. New Zealand also now legally accepts crypto as salary payments. Good stuff. Cryptonomics says, I was in Pivx a long time ago and this seems about right. Sean Trotter, what's up, man? That's why we have... Ah, man. Copenhagen asks, am I invested in gold or silver stocks? No, I'm not. I don't think that that's a bad idea, though. I think that that's good. Like, for example, I'm invested in real estate, but also REITs are good as well. So I don't think that those are bad options. I just, for some reason, got into buying physical precious metal when I was actually pretty young, and it kind of became a hobby. And now I just continue doing it. And now it's part of my official investment strategy. Dark Rico, it's 10 and 8. Or 8 and 10, excuse me. 8 length, 10 with a small. 10 length works fine too. 8's just going to get you in a little quicker. No, you can't trade silver and stocks on ByBit. You can only trade Bitcoin, Ethereum, EOS, and XRP. All right, man. It is 1:02. Yeah, I will not trade on any platform that allows you to trade stocks with crypto or precious metal with crypto. You guys might have forgotten one broker, but I sure didn't. And the exact same thing. All Bit7, they're gonna get shut down. All these little crappy exchanges, man. You will never see me have my money on them. That is way too high risk. Anyways, guys, it is 1:02. That means I gotta go. Thank you, guys. Thank you guys so much for joining me for another exciting episode of Breaking Bitcoin Market Update. Hopefully you guys have an absolutely fantastic day. We'll be here tomorrow, same time, same network, 5 networks. You can watch us on either one you want. If you guys want to check out the podcast and support the show with that, you can check out breakingbitcoin.money. The show will be up on the website and on all your favorite podcast catchers shortly after the finishing of me pressing this button over here, which kills the stream. Whoa, I almost pressed it. Whoa. All right. Breakingbitcoin.money. And of course, you can go leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. We highly appreciate that. Make sure to head over to premium.crackingcryptocurrency.com. First link in the description down below. If you are a new, aspiring, or experienced trader looking to sharpen your skills, take advantage of our community. Otherwise, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, sarcastic remarks, and or death threats, leave them in the comment section down below, and you can have an opportunity to win our X42 cryptocurrency giveaway that we do every single day this month. You guys have been absolutely fantastic. I've been Justin. We'll be here tomorrow. Trade safely, guys, and be good. It's a button right here. This button? Yeah, this button.
You